In the Middle East, a drug epidemic is taking over and killing millions of people each day.
Ahmed is one of those who transports and sells a type of amphetamine called Captagon, a cheap and hugely popular drug in the Middle East.
Here's what I sell. If someone takes Captagon, he's sure to stay awake and not go to sleep. In a bag like this one, you get around 200 pills. One costs about $20, and some only $17 or $18 each.
Before the war broke out in Syria, all of the Captagon produced in Lebanon headed to the Gulf states. But a new market opened up with rebel fighters keen to get their hands on it. Traffickers and users don't bother about Sharia law when it comes to Captagon.
Every dealer has his contacts, his network. It's our business and no one else's. We sell in
כמה זה נפוץ?
נפוץ, כאילו בסופו של דבר כל העולם מעשן, אבל זה עולה עם הגיל, כאילו ככל שאתה יותר גדול ככה אתה יותר מעשן.
כן? אוקיי, בזמן שאתה מגלגל, כמה נפוץ גראס פה בארץ?
בארץ? אני חושב נפוץ מאוד. אני חושב שזה נפוץ מאוד.
With very porous borders and Afghanistan sharing many of them and being the lead producer in opium, it's very hard for Middle Eastern countries to keep drugs out of their countries.
It's nighttime in Basra, the time of day when a new war, a fight against drugs and criminal gangs, takes over the streets.
This is the elite force that goes out every night on raids to try and crack down on organised crime in this city.
In the past 2 years, police here say they've made more than 4,000 drug-related arrests. But with youth unemployment at almost 50%, the SWAT team has someone new to hunt each night. Basra was spared from occupation by the so-called Islamic State group. But the richest city in Iraq has other problems.
After years of war, occupation and insurgency, the locals here had hoped their city would become the next Dubai. But there are no skyscrapers here, just high unemployment, crime and corruption.
Oil money from Basra seems to never benefit Basra. The people here bitterly complain. And their young people are faced with hard choices. Many end up here in Al-Qibla prison.
What are the issues you face here?
عدم وجود مصحات علاج المتعاطي، فجاي نضطر انه المتعاطي جاي نحجزه وهذا الشيء مو صحيح. لازم اكو مصح على مود يتعالج.
Under the Saddam regime, drug dealers and thieves were often put to death. Now they linger in cells like this.
I mean, the conditions are really bad.
Yeah, very bad. No choice.
Afghanistan have brought many consequences, including the onset of the world's biggest heroin industry. And with the amount of land under opium cultivation always on the rise, it's also affecting neighboring Pakistan, where it's now sometimes easier to get high than get fed. And you may find some of the images in Lucy Kafanov's report disturbing.
An ambulance rushes to Karachi's largest morgue. Another body is brought in to be identified. There's no shortage of ways to die in this city: target killings, bomb blasts, and drugs. Abdullah was hoping not to find his father here. He's been searching Karachi for more than 2 weeks. As a last resort, he checked this morgue. But amid the portraits of the dead, a grim discovery and a familiar face. Abdullah's father was addicted to heroin for almost a decade. Now, he's another one of the drug's casualties.
It's going to be hard to break the news to my mother, but this is what happened and we have to face it. There will be tears at home tonight.
Tears that Abdullah believes could have been prevented. He says his father tried to quit several times, but in Pakistan, there are few treatment centers.
Security's getting a lot tighter now. We've just been pulled over by the army and we're just about to head into drug country. The further we go in, the more lawless it becomes. Kidnappings are common and security forces clash with drug lords all the time. Worst thing is, if anything happens to us, there's going to be no one who can help us.
This is Lebanon's Bekaa Valley.
an area known for its ancient ruins, its wine, and the cannabis that has grown here for centuries. Large-scale cannabis cultivation began in the 1920s to replace Lebanon's failing silk industry and soon flourished into one of its most valuable exports. This reached its peak during the 15-year civil war, where Lebanon was said to be producing 1,000 tons of hashish per year. The Bekaa Valley is a vast, lawless stretch of land 75 miles long that spans nearly the whole length of Lebanon. This year, an estimated 45,000 dunams of land was dedicated to cannabis cultivation.
In Kuwait, the leading drug is khat, natural leaves that they eat to create the drug effect in their brains that is grown there. In other countries, it's not the same. With the majority of the abusers being children as young as grade school age taking drugs like Captagon, Tramadol, hashish or cannabis, or even getting addicted to heroin, their lives seem to serve no purpose as they're stuck in an endless cycle of drug abuse with little or no places to find help. The closest thing these people have to a chance is the Narconon centers, and there are 2 of them located in the Middle East to help drug addicts find their way back.
At a Narconon drug rehab center, each person is well supported through the initial withdrawal stage with plenty of nutrition designed to alleviate the worst of one's symptoms and to lift one's mood. Restoring key nutrients for the body and mind's operation helps get a person through the sharpest period of wanting to return to drug use. Soon after withdrawal is completed, each person goes through a precisely planned and controlled detoxification procedure. A strict schedule of exercise, nutritional supplements, and intermittent sweating in a well-ventilated dry sauna enables a person's body to cleanse itself of old stored toxins. These traces of drugs formerly used have proven to cause cloudy, slow thinking. At the completion of this process, it is common for participants to say that they can think more clearly. They attest that they feel remarkably better and may say they no longer have the cravings or any desire for drugs.
From porous borders to political unrest, there's no safe place for people in the Middle East to go. There's only 3 centers known in the Middle East to help with drug addiction and recovery. This makes it very hard for addicts who do recover to stay recovered, which grows the epidemic even more. As you can see, drug trafficking has become a huge problem in the Middle East, with countries sharing borders and drugs, and there's little to no help for anybody to stop it.